too much to cover. Like, not only am I behind on a bunch of stuff because I've been indisposed, but also there's there's an entire like an avalanche of horse shittery going on. Let's see. Does this see if everything still works? There we go. Let's see. I got to move my pages around. There you go. For example, Glenn Beck has been doing everything he can to turd polish the administration's handling of Epstein. But there's, as much as he's been trying to distract, you've got, on the other hand, Tucker Carlson and who's this jackass? Like, this guy has I always think he looks like either a Russian hitman or a UFC fighter who's retired and been put out to podcast. Sean Ryan, that's who it is. Yeah. Discuss the reason the Epstein files have been buried and who's really in charge of the government. Okay. So let me get this straight. You motherfuckers said Trump is the last great hope. And if he doesn't get elected, just write off the country. He's the only salvation that's there. The only savior is Donald Trump. He must be elected or the country will be destroyed. And then less than 9 months after his swearing in, about 10 months after swearing in, we're doing videos about, we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's not like he runs the fucking government or anything. I mean, it's Jesus Christ, it's like, it's not like he's actually president, okay? And if you ask, I guarantee if, let's see. I'm not gonna prejudge. I would guess that at some point, one or both of these dickheads talk about how they've kind of known this for a long time, that the president doesn't really run shit, and it's not, we don't really have a government, that kind of nonsense, right?
Everybody is screaming, release these fucking files. We want to know what is going on. We want to.
Well, not everybody. I think, was it Clay Higgins is the one vote against them, and everybody is like, Trump himself isn't screaming for their release. He's like, all right, release them. Whatever.
No.
What will we find out if they were all released?
I don't know. Why are you doing these full profile shots like you guys are a kissing face?
Released. Anything we didn't know?
Honestly, I have no idea. Is it the end of the fucking country? Like, is it really that bad?
C.S. Lewis has this. Well, I have tons of opinions on the subject. I don't have
the ability to articulate any of them and not sound like a complete fucking dipshit.
Concrete proof. Of course, I think I know, but C.S. Lewis has this. I think it was C.S. Lewis.
Does it really matter? It's probably some other, neo-Christic author that you want to pretend like you actually give a shit about while you sell your fake Christianity to your new audience, because when you don't have any facts on your side, sell a religion that you just purchased your way into, along with your fucking weirdo log cabin lifestyle that for some reason is, I guess you just get away with it. Just pretending.
I like wood.
Yeah.
Deeper and longer.
Sure. Thank God I'm a country boy.
Has this essay in which he says.
Okay, so you didn't read the book. You just read the essays. That tracks.
People debate, was Jesus really God or whatever. If Jesus came back to Earth tomorrow and held a press conference, like a week later, people would be talking about something else.
Even if he live on camera turned some water to wine and some, loaves and fishes, did all that shit, maybe even had walked up to a leper and all their like, because it still exists, flying a leper from someplace in, I don't know, South America, I suppose, where they have some, little areas where it pops up. How about just from Arizona? I think they had a small outbreak there. Find a leper from Arizona, fly him in for the press conference. He can heal him. I guarantee it would still be a talking point a couple weeks later. As a matter of fact, I think that the next talking point was, when does Bravo sign him to his reality series?
It's like, we actually know what's true. We know what's true in the way that dogs know what's true. You can't.
That's exactly how Tucker Carlson knows something's true. He sniffs its ass, and I suppose licks his own balls in front of company. This is high science, man. It's the art form.
reason with the dog can smell it. And
Truth is dog shit. Tucker Carlson, 2025.
he sticks with his opinion because he has no other input.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get to smell everybody's shit, I guess.
If you hate a dog, you can't talk your way out of it. The dog knows you hate the dog.
What? No, it doesn't. If you have a treat in your hand and you hate the dog, guess what? It's your best friend. Fuck, what an idiot.
Dogs have unerring instincts. And so
No, they don't. They absolutely do not have unerring instincts, or my dad's dog would not run into the woods chasing a bird that isn't there and come out covered in ticks. You're an idiot. It's a lovely dog. I love this dog. Unerring instincts. Why then does he bark at people we know and not at strangers sometimes? What the fuck?
do we. And so
So do we. Who's we? Humans? What the fuck?
of course, we know exactly what the Epstein story is about. It's about the deep corruption of global leadership.
Of course, it's about Donald Trump's best friend who was fucking kids for a long time, and people like you who are slow walking a response to it because you know the people that were in it, and it's not some cabal, it's not the fucking Rothschilds that are in it. It's just a half a dozen or so dudes that Donald Trump likes.
Of course. And you can say it's about Israel, it's about the CIA. Well, it's about, is there a distinction really?
Yes, there's a distinction between Israel and the CIA.
Not just between Israel and, Mossad and CIA, but about the British government or really kind of any government or any.
Yes, there's no difference between any governments. This is America first, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the king of MAGA. Yes, the dweeb Alex Jones. There's no difference between any countries. That's why Tucker Carlson is moving to Yemen, and he's going to broadcast from there from now on. Jesus Christ.
Bill Gates or Leon Black. It's all kind of varieties of the same thing.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because Mark Cuban's not in there. Fucking Mitt Romney was the head of the Republican Party and ran for president. He's not in there. Barack Obama's not in there. Joe Biden wasn't fucking in there. But the current sitting president, who's the head of the Republican Party, he was in there. Your fucking New York buddy from when you were on Fox News.
It's corrupt leadership that is acting on its own behalf against the interests of the people they lead. It's the oldest story there is.
No, it isn't. No, corrupt leadership acting against the people that they serve or whatever is not the oldest story. You know why? Because democracy didn't happen but like 250 fucking years ago. And before that, corrupt leadership was fuck you, I'm the king. Fuck you, I'm the pope. Fuck you, I'm the religious leader of this particular tribe. Those are free of corruption because nobody has a say. Corruption only exists when there's an alternative to where you wouldn't be corrupt, or where there's a punishment for, or it's considered illegal to act in certain behaviors. And in dictatorships and stuff, there's no corruption. It's just fuck you for asking.
Pharisees.
The Pharisees. Shut the fuck up.
And if we're honest, we already know that. So.
Okay, real quick. You can't flood the airwaves with your I like wooden building, semi-macho country life bullshit and then still wear loafers with no socks. I'm sorry. No, those are the shoes of a man who knows when he leaves the house to when he returns to the house, nothing bad is going to happen to him. Other people will take it. You might as well be wearing fucking flip-flops. I wear flip-flops when I go out and cut wood. Well, I don't cut wood. I stand there and watch while a guy I pay to cut wood stands there that my wife wonders why he has to be so sweaty and muscular. I think it's just he's the most qualified guy. And she asks again, and I say,
I like wood.
And that's the end of the conversation because man dominates the household.
I mean, of course, I'm completely for disclosure of everything. But I don't lie to myself and say that disclosure would change human nature because it won't.
What are you talking? Look, I understand murder is a crime and that kind of stuff. And I obviously people should be punished for murder, but if you throw someone in jail for murder, it's not going to destroy the very concept of murder. So why bother throwing a murderer in jail? I'm sorry. And we're the ones trying to defund the fucking police. The fuck is this? Tucker Carlson, you are a lazy, ballless, soulless dipshit. You flail around in bumper sticker religiosity and nonsensical patriarchal horseshit that you do not even have the physical strength to manifest in the human body. This is the most absurd human in maggotdom right now. And I'll say it to your fucking face anytime you want. Please share this clip with Tucker Carlson wherever he shows up online. You nutless wonder. You weak, backbending dipshit. The moral ambiguity of this Nepo baby bullshit artist, especially around Christianity, should offend every Christian that has even a smidgen of genuine belief in their religion. And Sean Ryan, I don't blame you for platforming him because, you know, clickbait, whatever.
People have an opportunity to exploit others, generally will.
Well, obviously projection is 9/10 of the law.
And the rest of us need to fight daily against that, not because we're going to win in
Because it's human nature to be evil.
the short term, but because it is our duty.
Okay, then why not be for full disclosure? If it's your duty to fight every day, then why shrug off the idea of full disclosure? His arguments so far, and chat room, check me on this. It seems to me that Tucker Carlson's argument is why out and prosecute and incarcerate pedophiles because you won't eliminate pedophilia by doing it. Especially since it's his rich friends. Especially since it's his buddies. Especially it's the general, like, wealth circuit that he has operated in his entire goddamn life. He would never say this about a poor person committing a crime. Lock him up. Deport him. Kick him out, right? But when it comes to, like, wealthy Republican donors and people in the power elite, and especially in the Northeast of the United States and in Florida, that crowd, hands off. What a, ugh. Like, do you think he ever came clean about the truck stop bathroom where he got all those scratch marks on his body when he told his wife he was fighting a demon? Mm-hmm.
And to serve what's good and true, period, even if we're killed doing it. So I don't...
Yes, nothing says, I am willing to die for what I know is good and true, like loafers without socks. Fuck you. Just ready for battle at any turn. Jesus Christ.
No, I mean, I won't stop pushing for disclosure. I really believe that. Trust is built on honesty. It's not built on lies. Ever.
You know, you say, you know, does it change? I can't remember your exact verbiage, which
It doesn't matter. Just spitball it, dude.
you know, we were talking about, you know, when this gets exposed, does it change anything? No, this is the nature of man. This is what happens.
No. No, it isn't. If it was the nature of man, then there wouldn't be laws against it in the first fucking place. If it was the nature of man to be power-hungry pedophiles, then we would just allow it. We would put it right up there with breath and the desire to consume bacon and cheese.
But
we already know the answer.
men need to be reset. And men have not been fucking reset, not in this country, for a long,
That's
long
coming.
time.
That's coming whether we want it or not. We don't.
Tell them. This is gonna happen. Men are getting ready to have a wake-up call. And you ladies better watch out.
Want it, but it's coming.
And
All this shit about women don't need men.
dude, you're not a man. You might be an adult male, but you're not a fucking man. Jesus.
You've obviously seen chaos in a society, right? Like actual chaos. People just like shoot into buildings and no one arrests them. You spent your life around that stuff.
Oh, I mean, like the guy who fired his gun at January 6th into the sky, and the other guy who had a truckload of guns he was going to go back for, but he got like curb stomped by his own assholes going up the steps, so he never got a chance to go back, and when he did, he got arrested. But you guys forgot about it by then?
Those societies don't ask questions like, what are men for? You know what I mean?
How do you even say that and then have that laugh?
Right. And we're, of course, moving closer to that. And all of this, all of our silliest manifestations, you know, the trans craziness or...
You are a silly manifestation. Your name is Tucker. You are rich because your parents created frozen dinners. You got a job at Fox because they were like, well, he's a rich asshole.
Feminism or other just revolts against nature are only possible because we live...
You are a revolt against nature. Jesus Christ, man. I see no better example of a man who would be turned into chili in a plane wreck before anyone else. Okay, who here is completely fucking useless? All right, get out the steak knives.
In this Nerf world of affluence, but as that starts to change, and it is changing, then the upside of that, we're going to get poorer and the society will become more dangerous, but we'll also be a little more rooted in reality. In the same way that rich people are insufferable, not all, but a lot.
Well, obviously not yourself. Yeah.
A lot of rich people are insufferable because they're detached from reality.
Right, you just described yourself.
From nature, from God, from like the things that are real, and they convince themselves because they can fly from point to point without going through TSA that they have infinite power, and they
he's simply describing himself.
don't, and that's why they're so hard to have dinner with. But
they're the only people you have dinner with. And the only reason you find them insufferable is because they're saying the exact same thing that you're saying. They're espousing the exact same ideas you're espousing. They're saying it with the same stupid fucking laugh that you have, but it's not coming out of your mouth. That's the only reason you hate it. For real. The only reason he hates what these people are saying isn't because of the content, because it's identical to how he thinks. It's because it interrupts the time when he's fucking talking.
a normal society doesn't have these problems. It has all kinds of other problems, but doesn't have the American problems of like, I'm a 40-year-old unmarried Citibank executive. I'll just get a surrogate. It's like, okay. Or the suicide rate. There's not a lot of suicide in, impoverished countries.
Jesus Christ. Because life beats you to it, you dumb motherfucker. That's why they don't commit suicide. Death doesn't need any help. What the fuck?
Because, the mission is really clear. Eat. There's not a lot of crisis of meaning in Burundi. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ. I swear to God, it's like he was born out of the mannequin orgy on the upper class twit of the year Monty Python sketch. And by the way, crisis of meaning is the point where society should get to when you start to contemplate the high order thoughts. You don't get points for not thinking those thoughts when you're simply living meal to meal. And he's certainly, this asshole, what he's doing is obviously from, again, most of this claptrap is written from the warm side of a bay window. The idea that this guy is effectively wishing this on the average American. You guys have too much comfort and you're talking about these high concept things, you need to start starving for a while. You need to live life down the barrel of a gun for a while, because then you'll forget about all this shit.
It's a fight for the day.
Yeah, it's a fight for the day. Well, it's a trade-off. I mean, I would much rather live in a DoorDash society because I like comfort and ease and everything, but it is a trade-off. And you...
No, that's not a trade-off. That's the direction life should go. There's nobody is saying, well, I could get DoorDash, or I could wander through Sudan right now. What the fuck?
Trade comfort for meaning. That's just kind of what we've done.
No, we have not. No, we have not. You can't even have meaning if you can't contemplate that fucking meaning. Meaning is like scramble for survival and meaning are not synonymous. Who the fuck?
And we shouldn't be surprised by it.
What do you think happens?
Presumes facts not in evidence that he actually thinks, and doesn't just ping pong regurgitate claptrap he's heard from other people.
Honestly, if this, do you think this is actually is this gonna come out?
Yep.
Or has it all been shredded? I mean, Mark
I
Epstein
don't.
said this is,
of course. I mean, we don't have the JFK files. Mm-hmm. And
we don't. I thought the whole big thing was that Trump released all of it. It's all out now.
So then you ask, like, why don't we?
Who's we?
Is being protected here?
Hold on one second. Let's see. All the released JFK files. NationalArchives.gov. Oh, I gotta shrink this down. 1 second. There we go. In accordance with the President Donald Trump directive of March 17, 2025, all records previously withheld for classification that are part of the President John F. Kennedy assassination records collection are released. Here they are, sections 10 and 11. Accessing the records, there's all the stuff that's left over that hasn't been released before. Status of records related to the transfer from FBI to NARA in 2025. There's the 2023 release. There's the 2022 release. There's the 2021 release. There's the 2017-2018 release. Here's frequently asked questions and all this kind of shit. Yeah, we do.
There are no living stakeholders in that story. There's no living participant in that murder conspiracy.
That you know of.
It was a conspiracy. We know that. So
no, we don't.
who were the participants in that conspiracy?
Well, if you know it's a conspiracy, then you have to know who's the participant in it.
No one's still alive, so who could we possibly be protecting by not releasing all of those files? And that's a pretty short list of suspects. So I think we kind of know what that is.
Do we? I mean, like, small list of suspects, what? Anybody who was alive and aware of it during, the last 45, 50 years that's still in U.S. government. Ted Cruz's dad, of course. Yes, good point. Russia, the mob. I don't know. Who else?
At least in part. I don't know the details. I know some, but I think it's pretty obvious. Same with Epstein. It's pretty clear who some of the players were. They were...
Yeah. And the biggest one was his running buddy, Donald John Trump. 25 years. Besties.
Governments, the U.S. government involved, British government involved.
No. U.S. government. No. No. Not the U.S. government involved. Specific people within the U.S. government, specifically Donald John Trump. You don't get to go, well, the CIA was involved because they tracked him for a while and then passed it off to law enforcement, and that was a local and state thing, and then it bounced back, whatever. No, the U.S. government was not involved. The fucking the staff of the FAA weren't involved in it. The DOD and all the soldiers working in the military for the U.S. government were not involved in it. Very specific people.
Involved, Israeli government involved at various levels. The guy lived a fairly long life. He died in his mid-60s.
He did. Oh, you're sure he's dead? All right, that's interesting.
He was pretty active in government
In Donald Trump's life?
work, arms trading, for example, from a young age, from his late 20s, I think, when he
You mean when Bill Barr's dad got him a job at an all-girls an all-girls school that he wasn't qualified to teach at before he went to work for Bear Stearns, where he met gun runners, and when there was a big scandal at Bear Stearns, he got off scot-free largely because he was protected by some people in that organization, and then he went off and just helped trade arms for a little while and became a compromat machine, where at the same time he met Donald Trump and befriended him for decades.
left Bear Stearns. He got into that business with Robert Maxwell. You don't trade arms by yourself. You do it on behalf of governments and with the assistance of governments.
No, you don't. You don't need governments to do it, especially if you're selling it to rebel groups or the mob or cartels.
Obviously, you've been around this, you know. So from that
Sorry, is Sean Ryan a gun runner?
age, from say 30 to 65-ish when he died, so 35 years, he's intersecting with governments.
And Donald Trump all the time.
It's not just the Israelis. I mean,
No, it's the president of the United States,
the Israelis were
the sitting president of the United States.
definitely involved. Ehud Barak is living at his house. I mean, okay. And we have a lot of his emails that prove that, and I'm not.
We also have a lot of his emails about hanging out with Donald Trump. We got the whole birthday book. We got Trump's statements of him before. We got the fucking interview where Trump's flight, he had to delay his plane because he was waiting for Epstein to show up. And he shows up with Maxwell and an unnamed underage girl. I'm sure that was the only time that ever happened.
Defending the Israeli government, which is hard to defend, but I'm just trying to tell the truth, which is it's not just the Israelis. Okay, it's us, it's the British, the French, it's the usual players.
Yes, it's definitely not the Russians. It's definitely, even though all of his money that he laundered in his last 2 weeks being alive didn't go through Israel, didn't go through a U.S. crypto exchange, went through Russia. Let's see. Notice he just that lying by omission, I think. Let's see. Epstein, Russia, money, last week's. Yeah, here you go. The sound is on. You want to yeah, here you go. The U.S. Treasury's Epstein file details 4,725 wire transfers, adding up to nearly 1.1 billion flowing in and out of just one of Epstein's bank accounts. If you ask me, that's 4,725 potential lines of investigation right there. This is Ron Wyden speaking. Hundreds of millions flowed through other accounts. That's even more to investigate. The file shows Epstein used multiple Russian banks, which are now under sanctions, to process payments related to sex trafficking. A lot of women and girls he targeted came from Russia, Belarus, Turkey, Turkmenistan. You shudder to think what kinds of people must have been involved in the trafficking of these women and girls out of these countries into Epstein's web of abuse. Again, there are potential leads the Department of Justice ought to be digging into. Notice that Tucker Carlson mentions the U.S., the U.K., France, and Israel, doesn't mention Russia, doesn't mention Belarus, right? Doesn't mention Turkey and Turkmenistan. Isn't that weird? They're the usual players. Well, if you're talking about the usual players, Russia is the big player in this arena. The big player.
Tell services that matter in the West and probably others. So that's who's being protected, of course, and then all kinds of other pawns. And so I think one of the main
pawns? Oh, sorry. I guess Vladimir Putin is just an innocent victim in all this.
takeaways from that story, about which I know a lot, but not everything, is that the leaders that we believe are leaders, and people are starting to get this, like our elected officials.
This is This is the fallback, by the way, that Glenn Beck and all these other guys have gone through. It's not that Trump is a fuck up. He's trying his best. It's the people behind the scenes that really run things, and you just can't escape it. Even if you elect the perfect candidate, the the King Arthur of our time, Donald Trump. Ultimately, that doesn't matter. We knew it. We knew whatever he was going to do was all going to be destroyed by the unseen hand of the derp
They have
state.
so much power, Senator so-and-so, President, what's his name? Like these are the people running our society, or not
Maybe if you figured out their names, you could stop it.
the people running our society. Of course, they themselves are subject to enormous pressures from, other people and coalitions of people and
You mean voters?
forces and interests. And that's what and the closer you get to them, the more time you spend with the people who are in charge, the more you realize they're not really in charge, or they're only semi in charge.
How does it happen?
What a bunch of fucking. This is the laziest fucking shit game of 3-card Monty ever. Just drop the P behind the desk and pretend it's under one of them.
I'm very,
You're not confused, Sean Ryan. He doesn't make sense. This is just, it's it's InfoWars refrigerator poetry.
how does it happen? We talked about this a little bit at breakfast.
You guys had breakfast before this? I mean, don't get me wrong. None of us want to watch you guys eat. But you just decided to have breakfast before you went to the bar with an insane amount of liquor in your house?
I don't think everything is transactional as it may seem.
Oh, no.
I think that, and this is from my own experience, and I don't believe I've fallen into any yet, but I think I have come close.
Why? Because advertisers came to you with a deal you thought you couldn't say no to because it was ridiculous money, and then you found out that they were a Russian front?
I think they set traps, and that doesn't mean there's a hooker in the fucking hotel room that you walk into.
Though there
it's
is sometimes.
you know what I mean?
There is sometimes.
For somebody
Really? How often?
that fucking week,
You'd have to.
that would
and stupid,
great.
by the way.
But, and I'm sure that
Yeah, weak and stupid. Yeah, if you walk in and there's just a hooker in there, maybe you walked into the wrong room.
there's plenty of people.
Like, obviously, what Tucker's saying is like, order your own hookers.
Out there that are that fucking stupid.
Or the
in that
porn
week.
sites. I'm going to look up tranny porn on YouPorn. Well, that's not controlled by a foreign intel service. Oh, it is.
Sorry. So the reason Tucker Carlson doesn't look up tranny porn on porn sites is not because he wouldn't. It's because he doesn't want to give compromat to our enemies.
It is. That actually is true. So
Okay. That seems. All right. Does that stand out to anybody as kind of a dubious concern? The liquor shelves are bad AI. No, I think that's a real place. Smash Square. Oh, right. Yeah. Tucker found out the hard way. Yeah. That's why this is what. Please tell me this turns into an ad for a VPN.
yeah, I mean, there are a million ways that your weaknesses expose you to influence, for sure.
It's real easy. If your weaknesses are well within sort of the normal span of things and don't involve the abuse of minors or non-consenting adults, then what's to compromise? Right? Now, I guess the compromise part would be because the group you work and live in, if they knew what you were up to, they would hate you because of their own bigotry and prejudice. And you have to live within the confines of their bigotry and prejudice just to make the money that you do and all that kind of stuff. You have to put on this facade. And it's really any compromise they'd have against you wouldn't be about, oh, you broke a law, but that your facade would fall down with the crowd that you say, right? That you live this kind of like neo-fascistic, faux Christian bullshit veneer. And if anybody were to poke that, then you'd be in trouble, I guess.
I think they can be very giving.
It's true. I mean, I don't know what tranny porn you're watching, but we're not on that subject anymore. Sorry, my bad.
And
It's very hard to talk about it after someone brings it up apropos of nothing.
they can be very giving, and it appears that you're being led into a group.
Yes, yeah. Like it's so. I mean, these tranny porn sites that lead you to a hotel room with a hooker in it just can be like it's like one big party, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not. How did I end up in Diddy's basement? Right. It happened to anybody.
And then
Oh, I'm watching that right now with someone. Yes.
you're fucking done.
You're watching that with someone who.
But not even realizing it until you're in.
Oh, yes.
And,
They both went, I can't believe it. I'm like, look, dude, I don't know about you, but I'm like 2 clicks away from a Chris Hansen video. And I got to constantly police myself, because it's not what I'm looking at that's horrifying and bad and duplicitous and gross and all that kind of stuff. It's that if I get caught, my money train dries up, and that's the true morality of my side. Jesus Christ. That was a conversation, I would like to say for the record, about the disclosure of the Epstein files. The title of that was Release the Fucking Files. Why don't we have the Epstein and JFK files?